I look at the clouds, which are mostly covered with streaks of dove gray and subtle hints of purple, just enough to announce the sunset. I stand there for a few more minutes, taking in the beauty of London's sky. All my tiredness wears off as my eyes dive into nature. One thing I've learned undoubtedly is that air travel is not my cup of tea. It's too much of a process just to fly over a few 100 miles. I pull out the phone from my pocket and book a cab. Standing near the exit of the airport, my eyes roam around as observing people has always been more interesting for me than scrolling through Instagram. Some people are laughing and some are crushing themselves into a hug while crying tears of happiness. Some are busy with their phones and some are waiting for the cab just like me. My eyes land on a girl standing a couple of meters away from me. Shit, I curse as her eyes meet mine. She starts walking towards me and I fidgeted my fingers while cautiously observing her. She stops right in front of me. Excuse me, can you book a cab for me? My phone's dead. She asks softly while tugging a strand of blonde hair behind her ear. Yeah, sure. Where are you headed to? I ask. She looks at me with her twinkling dark brown eyes and answers, Abbey Road, Cottonwood Hostel No. 4. Are you from Cottonwood Medical University? I ask her out of curiosity. Yes, I'm new here. A first-year student, I mean. She answers and flashes a smile. But, why do you ask? I'm also in my first year at CMU. Do you mind sharing a ride? I'm going to the same place. Would love to, she says and embraces me into a joyful hug which I didn't expect at all. I hug her back hesitantly. I don't like people being touchy, or showing affection physically. I don't like to talk much either. That's probably the reason why I've never had many friends. My life has always been very simple, school to home and vice versa. I prefer staying at home rather than going out. My little sister, Rose, calls me a weirdo for such reasons. A smile forms on my face as I think about her. I'm Ella Brown, she says, breaking the hug. I flash a small smile. I'm Melissa Anderson. I've already booked the cab. It will be here in a couple of minutes, I tell her while looking at my phone. Indeed, I don't like to talk much, but it's also true that I don't like people getting uncomfortable because of it. So, I try to initiate conversation. I'm from France. Where are you from? I'm from Scotland, she answers and then crouches down to tie her shoelace. You know, you are very beautiful, she comments as she looks up and winks. A blush ascends my cheek and not knowing what to reply, I whisper my thanks. I sigh as the cab arrives. The driver gets our luggage and puts it in the trunk and we sit in the back seat. I look at her as she runs her hand through her hair, tying it into a bun. What? She raises an eyebrow and blinks her eyes several times. And nothing, I mumble and look outside the window. I facepalm myself as I realize that I was staring at her. I was just trying to observe her. She looks bold and outspoken, unlike me. Sometimes I envy extroverts. It's so easy for them to make friends, talk with anyone and speak their minds. I like to stay low, but if someone crosses the limits, I can't seem to be the quiet, shy girl as everyone assumes me to be. That's the reason why my dad calls me Little Beastie. I smile lightly as I think of the ride. It isn't as boring as I assumed it to be. She never stops talking and on the inside, I enjoy listening to her. It feels weird as I have never enjoyed anyone else's company except my family's. The car comes to a stop and we both step out to get our luggage. It's so enormous, she exclaims looking at the black iron gate. Yeah, it is. We walk in and look at the exquisite garden with flowers that dance as the cool breeze passes by. On the right side, benches lining the sides of the garden are occupied by students. Sounds of people laughing and chatting makes the surrounding feel so lively. Which building should we enter? She asks, which brings my attention back to her. I glance at Ella and then look at the three huge buildings towering over us. We both decide to enter the building nearest to us. Luckily, we were right. We get ourselves checked in and get our room keys. Why are we not in the same room? Ella pouts. It's not so far, Ella.
You're on the 5th floor and I'm just 7 floors away from you. I try to assure her. We both walk in the small elevator which probably withstands only 4 people at a time. She gives me a quick hug and we part our ways on her floor. The door opens revealing a wide corridor. I walk towards the wooden door which is on my left side since it's closest to the elevator. Room 1 to 3 is written on it. I guess it means room 1201, 1202 and 1203 in this block, I mumble. I hear a male voice behind me.
Yes, you are right, miss.
I smack my forehead for speaking loud enough for someone to hear and then turn around sheepishly. I don't like unwanted attention at all, and seeing this guy standing just a few steps away from me makes me frown at him. Sorry? I didn't realize I was speaking out loud. I apologize as I look into his light blue eyes. He chuckles and runs his hand through his brown hair with blonde highlights.
I didn't get to know your name, miss.
He holds out his hand with a raised brow, meanwhile his eyes study me from head to toe, making me shift uncomfortably. Melissa Anderson. We shake our hands but he holds it for much longer than I expected, so I pull it back. I squint my eyes as his face twitches slightly, but he quickly changes his expression.
I'm Blake Williams, Mel.
He introduces himself while looking into my light brown eyes. Anger boils inside of me as I hear him calling me Mel.
I hope you don't mind me calling you Mel,
he says amusingly. Yes, I do mind. Only my close one calls me that and I remember that you aren't on that list. I scoff and shoot him a glare. I don't like to talk much, but I can't just keep quiet at times like this, especially with jerks like him.
Is that so? Then let's get close, Mel.
He smirks and takes a step towards me, making me take a step back. My back hit the door. My cheeks flare up in anger as he places one hand beside my head and leans down to my level. What are you doing? I ask dauntlessly as I look him in the eye. You dare do anything, Blake Williams, and I'll knee you where the sun doesn't shine.
You said that only close ones are allowed, so I'm just trying to get close.
Okay then, let's change the criteria. Only the people whom I hate are allowed to call me Mel. Now you can call me Mel, Mr. Blake Williams. I smirk.
Well, you never know when hate turns into love, Mel,
he says as he takes a strand of my hair and twirls it between his fingers. Shut the fuck up and move, I demand, not wanting to hear his stupid remarks.
So this pretty mouth can curse too, I'm impressed.
His hungry eyes gaze at his thumb which trails my lower lip. I swat away his hand from my lips and he looks at me with disappointment. Don't you dare touch me. Get the hell out of here or I'll scream.
No problem, you can scream. Nobody can save you from me, baby girl.
He tilts his head to the right and says cockily, we'll know that once I scream. I simper and cross my hands at my chest.
You will have many chances for that baby and I don't want others to hear it since they should be just for me, sweetheart.
He says seductively as he leans into my ear. Before I react, he steps back and winks at me before walking into the elevator and disappearing. I stand there dumbfoundedly for a few minutes and then open the door to the block, grab my luggage and rush inside with anger burning inside of me. I take a deep breath and get into my room, which has a study table beside my single bed and a wardrobe at the entrance beside the door. I unpack my bag then grab a towel and a bathrobe. I walk into the bathroom, pull over my black off-shoulder crop top, and then remove my ochre pants. I let the hot water fall on my skin, soaking all of my anger. My routine has been the same almost every day. Waking up in the morning, having a coffee, and then spending my whole day together with Ella. I don't get bored as she is the most cheerful friend I have ever met in my life and we're kinda besties now. I haven't met that jerk, Blake, again, although I have seen him watching me from a distance a few times. Last week I found out that he's in his first year and is very rich. His dad is very well known in London and that's the reason why everyone likes to befriend him, but he doesn't give a damn to anyone. As far as I have heard, he doesn't talk with anyone. I don't know why he talked to me. My phone rings, startling me. I look at the caller ID and a smile forms on my face. Hi, Mom. How are you? I ask cheerfully.
I'm good. How are you, honey?
I'm fine, I answer her as I close the windows of my room.
Tomorrow is your first day at school. Don't forget to call me.
Okay, Mom, I'll call you in the morning. Don't worry. Now go to sleep, it's already very late. You have to go to work tomorrow. I tell her annoyingly, for not taking care of herself.
Okay, honey. I'll sleep. It's just that you have never been away from us and I don't want my daughter to face any problems. We miss you, my sweet girl.
Her voice cracks at the end indicating that she is crying. I miss y'all too. Good night. I say as tears well up in my eyes. I disconnect the call and grab my teddy from the bed. Hugging it tightly, I let a few tears roll down my face. Memories of my dad, Mom, Rose, and me keep playing in front of my eyes. More tears threaten to spill and I jump as my phone rings once again. Wiping off my tears with the back of my hand, I look at the screen. Please wake me up in the morning, Mel, or I will die tomorrow. My lips curl upwards slightly and I start typing. Sure, babe. Good night. With one click the message is sent to Ella. I set the alarm and turn off the lights. Pulling over the duvet, I lay flat on the bed and stare at the ceiling thinking about tomorrow. The excitement kicks in as I realize that from tomorrow I'll be starting medical studies. My dream job to become a doctor is finally going to start. Now, there's only one wish of mine left, that is Blake would never cross paths with me again. I don't want him near me at all. I don't understand why, but I've this feeling that something bad is going to happen tomorrow. This feeling keeps bugging me and doesn't let me sleep until my eyes start to feel heavy and soon I enter the world of dreams.